Hey guys, it's Evan the Cat King here with another video, and we are doing more talking about Disventure Camp. More Disventure Camp speaking. Woo! Um, I have ever since like episode 20, a lot of things have just come across my mind when it comes to this show, and it's like a lot of topics that I'd like to discuss with like to bring up on this channel here. So, I'm going to do that. So I want to get my like opinions about certain things regarding this with the Disventure Camp kind of as a whole, more than just this season of All Stars. Just some little critiques, not little critiques. These are critiques that I have about the show that I think do need like they're like not like huge things. They're just like basic plot and like tone type stuff, but I feel like it's stuff that I think can easily be interpreted in like not great ways, and could easily I think it could easily take people out of the experience of the show. It kind of did so it does this occasionally for me, and this does happen for me with specifically this first topic today. I am here talking about, but this topic is really based on more on episode 20 than any other topics that I might want to talk about. So it's good to get I'd like to talk about these topics and like express them. But also these videos about Disventure Camp All Stars have just been, or just Disventure Camp in general, have been getting like a shit ton of views. Like what the heck? I have no clue. Like bro, like I like made like that video about like why like how I like title I have given up on Disventure Camp All Stars. Then there was the video where I like was like, okay, people need to just leave episode 14 alone. Like both those videos were like the first two that I made about like specifically ever since like All Stars really came out, other than like just random videos here and there. And like ever since like those two videos both did pretty well, and then as well as releasing both a video about Allie and how I want her to win, and why I don't want Jake to win. Those both did very well. And then this most recent video where I talked about how episode 20 has officially made this season just straight up terrible. And that also has reached over 2,000 views and has gotten over 100 likes, gained so many subscribers. So thank you guys so much. I'd like to just, before we get into a very kind of pretty serious topic and a bit of a dark topic, I'd like to say thank you guys. But either way, this has been a very long intro, so let's get into this. My whole thing right now is about how Disventure Camp went too far this time in this episode 20 with one thing, and that is the like darker tone that Disventure Camp has. And I will say that the like more, it's not darker tone, but more serious topics, more like darker stuff, like just in general, like stuff like being more inclusive, like it has more seriousness to it than just total drama. But this time, episode 20, I think they took it too far. I think that they took it too far this time. In my opinion, I mean, it's a thing where I don't think that you should, there should never be a case, in my opinion, where you're making a, like, cartoon type show and you need to put a disclaimer on in front of the episode before you play it, because of how dark of topics you are. So obviously, like trigger warning, I guess, for anybody who has like like kind of issues with maybe like specifically like self harm type stuff. If you don't want to hear about that, then obviously I understand if you want to just click off the video. If that triggers you, a little trigger warning. But yeah, that's where episode 20 went. And I've I can tolerate some of the things, like just like stuff like, oh, having there be more like serious stuff. Like I think Miriam and her like whole backstory, that is a like kind of darker, more serious tone that works very well. That is a very like effective way of doing it, and I think that like that's a good amount of like kind of deeper stuff to include. But bringing up the idea of Jake like considering committing like and like is I think is just taking it too far. um I do not, I think that that is just something that you shouldn't get into for a cartoon type show. It is not something I want to see personally in a cartoon show, and I feel like that it makes sense for that to be the case for a lot of people. And if you do watch Disventure Camp for this darker tone, and like you actually enjoyed that bringing up like stuff like that, then honestly maybe you should watch a different show, because I feel like the Survivor type total drama shows probably I just don't think is the best place for stuff of that much seriousness. And it's just it I think it just took it too far. It took it just very far and made it just a very dark situation, and I just can't. I don't want to really. And that's not what I watch Disventure Camp for. I don't watch Disventure Camp to hear stuff about that. And ultimately like but also like this whole thing, and this another thing that I do have a problem with in regards to how they handled this whole topic. Like I can maybe understand if you are will like if you kind of want to get into topics like that. Like I feel like with a character like Tess in season 2 specifically, not this season, but in season 2, I feel like you could have gotten away with like telling that kind of a thing, and like actually bringing depth, and like actually like kind of building like up to that, but don't just like but they just instantly just threw it in our faces out of nowhere here. And it makes me kind of question and ultimately this made me the whole way that they handled it made me interpret things in a way that I seriously doubt that the show wanted me to interpret it the way. And it's not like within the story, but like how I interpret the decision. I don't think that that's how like I don't think that the decision to do this was based off of this, but it's how I like kind of saw it. And I feel like it's a not great thing, in that I feel as if from some of my first impressions, one of the first things that I got out of this moment, and first like ideas as to why they did this, was I asked, are they trying to bring up sympathy for Jake by making him bring up that he was like thinking about like self-harm stuff? And that is like not, if that is like a genuine motive of doing this, then that is really not, oh, I don't think that's okay. Because like, and obvious like this whole like not a topic that is like you really want to make jokes about, and they obviously they don't do that, but like using it for like ulterior motives is not a good thing. Because many people have struggled with that, and like I'm someone who has struggled with that before. I don't want to get into that, but I understand. I know I have a bit of experience in that specific area throughout my life, and or yeah, there was a time when I kind of experienced what Jake is talking about, and ultimately it's just and now based on how just random it came up and how just random this whole like everything kind of revolving around Jake in this episode felt made it feel like this whole episode was trying to like get rid of all of the doubters in Jake and make sure that everybody was rooting for Jake going into the finale because they want people to be happy about Jake's winning even if they don't like it. Like it feels like they were trying so hard to make Jake as like rootable as possible in this episode. And it's in and that just makes me think that could this whole like bringing this up could that have been the motive? And if it was, then I like that shouldn't be something that you bring up just to build like sympathy for a character so that more people will root for him. And I don't think that that's what they were doing. But the fact that I interpreted it that way makes me think that that could easily be interpreted that way by other people. And that is something that you don't want to happen. But this whole episode just felt very go Jake type thing, trying to set up so that everybody is okay with Jake winning, even if like he's like to try and sway like the critics of Jake as a character to now root for him. Like just setting it up like this whole like having him go against Rhea in the finale alone. Right there, that shows how badly they want everybody to root for Jake. They're willing to put him. They're willing to let Rhea make it to the final two for a second time, just so that people will collectively root for Jake, and along with like just stuff like people who don't like Jake as much, I feel like often would like a character like Fiore, so have Jake save Fiore's life. This whole episode felt like it was trying to make Jake the more like favorable character to be the winner, like and like setting up like Allie to like get her big triumphant moment in a way to like end her story with closure while also setting him up as the one that everybody's rooting for to win. And the fact that that seems kind of, in my opinion, it seems like that's what a lot of things revolving around Jake was set up to do in this episode makes me wonder if that bringing up the whole bringing up his like the depression type stuff, not really depression, but like yeah, I'm wondering if that was based as well upon making people like him. And if that's the case, then that's just a wrong. That is not an okay thing to do in my opinion. And but yeah, I just this whole episode I feel as if Odd Nation cartoons took it too far. And I'm fine with it having a bit more seriousness to it. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people like it, including myself, in comparison to Total Drama. Not that like I like Disventure Camp more than Total Drama. I think I'll always prefer Total Drama over Disventure Camp, just because it's the original, and I can't just like go saying that Disventure Camp is a better show when Total Drama is still very good. Finally finished both seasons of the reboot. I went and just watched it on YouTube. I said, screw it, I'll just watch it on YouTube. But yeah, and I'm fine with, but yeah, anyways, with Disventure Camp, I get off topic sometimes, but with Disventure Camp, and with, this is like directly speaking to Odd Nation cartoons, and I think, like, if you're gonna, like, I'm fine with you having a more serious tone, but sometimes it doesn't always have to be the most serious. This show I would prefer to be a bit less serious and like allow for characters to just have fun sometimes and not always be in absolute hatred of each other all the damn time. And also just like not getting into topics that are just, if you, again, I think the main thing is ultimately, I think the main point, and I think the easiest way to put it is, if you need to put a disclaimer on the beginning of the episode, then you should remove the thing that placed a disclaimer there. I don't think that there should be a case where you should have to put a disclaimer on Disventure Camp, because it shouldn't get that dark. This is a cartoon show. This is a goofy cartoon show. Like even if like it has more serious stuff, this is the total drama show where a child and an old lady made it to the final two. This is not a super serious show. So why are you bringing up these super serious topics? And I just can't get on board with those topics. And I don't think that we should go back to a point where there needs to be disclaimers on these episodes. And that's ultimately my opinion on things. I think that this is a topic. I feel like I hold a lot of like thoughts on this whole thing, and like I have a lot of like kind of personal like stuff involved with it, but in the end, that's the main point behind it. There shouldn't be anything to cause a disclaimer on Disventure Camp. If there is, then I think that you went too far. But anyways, I rambled for quite a while now, and I'll be done. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.